The canal system in sponges developed due to which of the following? Folding of inner wall, folding of inner wall, folding of inner wall, folding of inner wall. Which of these is common in both lymph vessel and veins? Lymph vessel and veins valves. Principle of transformer is electromagnetic induction, mutual induction. Resistivity of substance defined as the resistance of meter cube of wire. What will be the product of beta decay of C14? C N N14 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 N14. Coulomb force is long range force. Coulomb force is short range force. Which of the following is same for isotopes? Protons. Which of the same is isotopes? Protons. Which of the following is same for isotopes? Protons. The SI unit of electric charge is coulomb. An oscillation is called simple harmonic motion when acceleration is directly proportional to x minus x. The ratio of period of excitation in an ordinary and metastable state is the ratio of period of excitation in ordinary and metastable state 1 ratio 10 to 5. 1 ratio 10 to 5. 1 ratio 10 to 5. The ratio of period of excitation in ordinary and metastable state. Rate of change of displacement with respect to time. Velocity with respect to time. Velocity. Rate of change of displacement with respect to time is called velocity. Angular displacement is vector quantity. Angular displacement is a vector quantity. Can we magnetic flux line? Can we see magnetic field lines? No. Internal energy of the system depends on the path from initial to final state. Internal energy of the system depends upon the path from initial to final state. From a final state, electric field lines due to negative charges are radially towards the charge. A transformer has negative voltage regulation when its load power factor is leading. Has negative voltage regulation when its load power factor is leading. The H atom cannot produce alpha rays, which is an optically active medium which rotates plane of polarization. The resistance of superconductor is zero. 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 A sinusoidal current has RMS value of 10. What is the peak value? Peak value is equal to under root 2 into RMS. Under root 2 into RMS. The source of X-ray generation is copper. Incompetent scattering process wavelength of the saturated X-ray. Incompetent scattering process wavelength of the saturated X-ray increase. A transverse wave on a string has an amplitude a. A tiny spot on the string is colored red. At one cycle of the wave passes by, what is the total distance traveled by the red spot? A transverse wave on the string has an amplitude a. A tiny spot on the string is colored red. At one cycle of the wave passes by, what is the total distance? A transverse wave on a string has an amplitude a. A tiny spot on the string is colored red. As one cycle of the wave passes by, what is the total distance traveled by the red spot? A transverse wave on a string has an amplitude a. A tiny spot on the string is colored red. As one cycle of the wave passes by, what is the total distance traveled by the red spot? A transverse wave on a string has an amplitude a. A tiny spot on the string is colored red. As one cycle of the wave passes by, what is the total distance traveled by the red spot? 4a. 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 A transverse wave on a string has an amplitude a. At any spot on the string is colored red. As one cycle of the wave passes by, what is the total distance? 4a. A transverse wave string. A tiny spot on the string is colored red. As one cycle of the wave passes by, what is the total? As one cycle of the wave passes by, then the total distance traveled by the red spot. 4a. 4a. The angular acceleration is similar to centripetal acceleration, centrifugal. None of these. Angular acceleration is similar to none of these. None of these. A spring having spring constant itne is stretched to 5 meter. What will be the work done? What will be the work done? 1 over 2 kx cube. If a charge of 2 coulomb is traveling parallel to a magnetic field of 4 Tesla with 20 meter per second, calculate the net force on it. If a charge of 2 coulomb is traveling parallel to magnetic field of 4 Tesla with 20 meter per second, calculate the net force on it. If a charge of 2 coulomb is traveling parallel to magnetic field of 4 Tesla with 20 meter per second, calculate the net force on it. F is equal to ILB for a charge of 2 coulomb traveling to magnetic field itne meter per second, calculate the net force. I is equal to Q over T ILB Q over T. Traveling parallel to magnetic field. Parallel to magnetic field is 0. A radioactive sample with a half-life of 1 month has the label. A radioactive material with a half-life of 1 month has the label activity is equal to 2 microcuries on 1:8:1991. What will be the activity 2 months later? 8 microcuries. 2 microcuries after 2 months. 8 microcuries. 8 microcuries. X-rays are produced in dash tube, vacuum tube. X-rays are produced in vacuum tube. In full wave rectifier with input frequency 50 Hz, the ripple in the output is mainly of frequency 100. Ripple in the output frequency of the 100 rectifier. Input frequency the heat sensitive device whose resistivity change very rapidly with change of temperature. Thermistor. Heat sensitive device whose resistivity change. Acceleration is always dash for a freely falling body. Positive. Which one of the following is disadvantage of potentiometer over a voltmeter? Potentiometer over a voltmeter, it is heavy and not portable. Potentiometer over a voltmeter and not portable. Which one of the following is disadvantage of potentiometer over a voltmeter? Heavy and non-portable. It is heavy and non. It is. What is the SI unit of potential difference? Volt. An air pipe open at both ends, a stationary wave is produced in second harmonic mode. What is the phase difference between the volume of the particle at the end of the pipe and at the center of the pipe? Phase difference. Pi over 2. uh, by 180 degree. Lamination of the transformer core is made of silicone steel. Lamination of the transformer core is made of silicone steel. Work done in an adiabatic process of the gas from T1 to T2. T1 work done in adiabatic process of gas from T1 to T2. NR in over y minus 1 into T1 minus T2. T2 T2 T1 minus T2. What happens to the flux if applied magnetic flux is doubled on the same surface? What happens to the flux if applied magnetic field is doubled on the same surface? Become twice. What happened to the flux if applied magnetic field is doubled? What happened to the flux if applied magnetic field double become twice?